Serious, what are some scary, horrifying, creepy things that have happened to you, or in general, that could have a plausible explanation, but still freak you out? When I was 15 we had to put my cat down due to kidney failure. I still kept seeing him around the house for over a year after he passed away. Some people might find some comfort in that, but it really creeped me out. I did not like it because I didn't believe in ghosts. But yeah, I kept seeing him on the back of the couch or sitting in the hallway. Like I would look over, he'd be there, and then I'd blink and he'd be gone. I know that the explanation is that it was just all in my head because I'd seen him in those spots every day for 15 years. That it was what my brain was expecting to see when I looked at those spots in the house. When we moved away I finally stopped seeing him. This happened on my first night alone in a new house. We lit candles in the living room, relaxed in there for a bit. Then my husband went out for the evening and I put the kids to bed. Before doing so, I blew out all the candles as I wouldn't be in the room. And yes, I definitely blew them out because I'm paranoid about safety. After 30 minutes or so, I returned to the living room and all the candles were lit again. I called my husband and told him to come home immediately because the house was haunted or someone was secretly living in a cupboard somewhere. He assured me that this can happen due to a breeze. I'm still not convinced. When me and my sister were kids, our family had this butler statue that had a little serving platter that they would put mints or gum or something like that on. My childish mind always had a weird fear of that thing. I would have dreams where I would be in a room with the statue alone at night and it would suddenly lunge toward me and I would be unable to scream for help in my dreams. I even had a recurring dream where I was downstairs with the statue. It would emerge from the darkness and just as it reached me, I would wake up. I hated that thing so much that I even had dreams of me destroying it in triumph. My sister even told me that she had recurring dreams about it as well. Whenever I would pass it in real life I would kick it or hit it or something because it terrified me and I even attempted to make friends with it. One day my parents got rid of it, but to this day I swear there was something supernatural or something about it. A few years ago I was at work in a grocery store. I noticed a customer not too far away that I recognized as a regular that was always friendly, just a little weird. I went back to stocking product and soon felt him very close to me, almost touching me from behind. He then whispered in my ear that I was the reason he shopped there and walked away. I've only seen him once since then, but it still just freaks me out. Once went on a drive with my girlfriend down some back roads where I grew up. I was telling her about this big swamp off the road that my family was convinced had supernatural properties. As we were coming up beside it, I parked my truck on the shoulder so that we could get out and take a closer look when bam, my radio turns on full blast. Creepy white noise with muffled voices that didn't sound like any sort of talk show. She screamed. I turned it off. We drove out of there. As a person that doesn't like to listen to anything but the sound of the road when I drive, I never turn on my radio. And in order to turn it on, you have to physically press the button. So yeah, it was pretty creepy, but probably just a weird electrical coincidence. In 2008, we renovated our house just after buying it. We painted the cabinet doors in the kitchen and laid them out to dry. When it came time to hang them, 2 were missing. We searched everywhere, but could not find them. I ordered replacements, but never got around to putting them up. We just got used to the middle 2 cabinets pretending to be shelves. About a year and a half ago, I decided to paint the replacement doors and put them up. I painted them, then got busy at work and never got around to putting them up. Less than a year ago, I searched everywhere, looking for the doors. I finally found them in the attic, leaning against the access in a way that caused them to fall out of the attic when I opened the access. I cannot remember the last time I went into the attic before then. My wife cannot even reach the access pull, so I know she didn't put them there. We still have not found the original doors, nor do we know how these got up there. Creepy. I was in my early 20s. My then boyfriend and I lived in an old house that had since been turned into 4 apartments. We were one of 2 on the top floor. Our apartment was the only one with access to the attic of the house. That door was in our bathroom, but was painted slash sealed shut. We assumed because landlord didn't want anyone up there. Naturally we got it open and went up to check it out. Nothing out of the ordinary, just an empty slash dusty attic. We had many odd occurrences in the year and half we lived there. The scariest for me was one night I came home after closing at my job, so about 1 AM. I arrived home and was home alone, changed and did a few things and headed to the bathroom before bed. As I'm on the toilet, something slams into that door enough to shake it in its frame. I don't think I have ever moved that fast in my life. Jumped up and ran out of the room without even pulling my pants up. Got redressed and headed to my parents', where I spent the night. The next day my dad and I go back after some calming down, thinking maybe an animal got in there somehow. We pry the door back open and go up to check it out. Nothing there, nothing to explain what it might have been. And had there been an animal or something, we would have seen tracks, and the floor was covered in dust that was undisturbed. We used to hear what sounded like dragging sounds and odd things a lot in that house. I tried to research the address to see what I could find out about the history of the house, but found nothing out of the ordinary. I made a public post about looking for a space to rent in the city where I work. Rather than replying to the post or throwaway account, no picture and an obviously fake name, messaged me directly saying, "I can help. Call 30th XXXX." For some reason, the short message in combination with the account already felt off. About 10 hours after I received the message, I called. He picked up on the first ring with an oddly cheerful voice. He gave a totally different name than what was listed in the account and offered no explanation. While he seemed particularly keen on having me come check out the space, he said that it could not be a weekday when I could easily pop over after work, but specifically had to be a Saturday/Sunday. When I started to explain that I live rather far away currently and asked if it was possible to meet during the week, he insisted it wasn't and added that I couldn't pass up a spot that was only 1 mile from where I work. I never told him where I work. It's certainly possible that he googled me, but from start to finish, everything felt off. In college, my buddy and I used to smoke pot in the attic of the off-campus apartment he lived in, so we wouldn't bother the 2 girls he lived with. One night we were smoking up there when suddenly an object, one of those handheld roller exercise things with handles on each end that worked out your abs and arms, very slowly rolled across the floor from its original position and stopped in front of the door in the room where we were smoking. The floor is actually slanted in that part of the attic. We tested it, so that thing not only rolled itself about 3 or 4 feet on its own, but did so up an incline. Lately, every night I go to sleep some shit scares me awake or scares the shit out of me right as I'm falling asleep. I have a feeling it's just dreams playing tricks on me, but holy shit, they turn my stomach upside down. I was in Verona this summer with one of my best friend. We went to a concert at the arena. Really cool. I went home after I took her home and was like 3 AM. Went to bed and had a sleep paralysis around 5 AM. You know when you are awake but couldn't move. I had this hallucination of having a strange insect or spider talking to me and saying I was blessed to meet her, and soon everything was about to end. It went on talking and saying creepy things to me until I finally woke up for real. Well, as soon as I woke up I searched online about sleep paralysis. It was my second in a few months, and I ended up reading about Queen Mab, the fairy from Romeo and Juliet, which take place in Verona. She was described almost as the spider thing I saw on my arm. The company I worked for owns the entire 9th floor in a building with multiple departments spread out, and nobody ever comes in on the weekends unless they ask permission from one of the owners and sign a release form that is filed away by one of the production managers, me and a colleague. This past weekend I came in to work on a sound design project and to record some file I hadn't gotten around to, and since for all intents and purposes I hold the keys to accessing the facilities on the weekend, I knew it was just going to be me there. Sunday night, as I was walking down the hallway to my office from our recording booth to gather my things and leave, I heard what sounded like a moan behind me at the end of the hallway near the elevators. Not a sexy I feel good moan, but a PT Lisa ghost moan. As soon as it happened I turned around and audibly said, "Fuck off, dude." After a few seconds as I started to walk, I heard it again, and what felt like a little louder. At that point I did a I'm going to shit myself shuffle walk to my office and took the stairs all the way down to the first floor. I'm not superstitious at all, but I also don't want to be proven wrong by getting my ass eaten by a ghost in an elevator.